These are 7 high-level red flags that you'll only see with experience. When I was a naive younger guy, these things didn't even register in my mind, as if I was completely blind to them. But now, after being a playboy for the last 4 years, these are more obvious than ever. Starting with the first one, which is when a girl is too comfortable too fast when you're first getting to know her. So let's say it's the first date and you're picking her up or meeting her at the arranged spot, and she's just super confident, super comfortable being around you as a new guy who she's never met before. That's a little bit of a red flag, because what you got to be thinking is, how much does she do stuff like this to be so comfortable in this sort of situation? Because a good girl wouldn't be going on dates left and right. She wouldn't be sleeping with guys left and right. And the only way that you're going to get to that level of comfort being around new guys is by doing that sort of stuff. And I know this from being on the opposite side of the spectrum, going from a shy, insecure kid to a playboy. It was only after I've been with so many girls, been on so many dates, talked to thousands of them, that you kind of carry that sort of calm, confident, relaxed, charismatic energy. But when I was younger, I had that like shy, nervous energy when I was meeting a girl. And you kind of want to see a little bit of that shy, nervous energy. Like when I was a kid, it was to the point of anxiety. And that's not something that you really would want to see. I mean, it's not a bad thing. But if she's a little shy and nervous and the date starts off a little slow and you have to warm her up and you have to, charm her up and be a little charismatic to get her to open up, that's much better than her, say, jumping into the car, telling you her whole life story, nonstop talking, acting like, this is just a normal Tuesday. Then that's a bit of a red flag. So the best girls who I've dated or been with have been the ones where it started off a little slow. When I first picked them up or first met them at the spot, it wasn't the smoothest conversation. It was like I had to work it a little bit. I had to get them to open up. I had to get them to trust me. These are the things that you're looking for. You don't want a girl who just comes in right off the bat, super calm and confident and like this is a normal Tuesday. Unless you're just looking for a one-night stand, then that's great. And now, guys, here's the thing. When it comes to understanding red flags and also diverting them and being able to handle everything, communication is really your only weapon. To be able to be a dynamic communicator and also be able to see communication for what it truly is, being able to read into people's words and their mindset is extremely powerful. So for that reason, I made every single one of you a high-level communication guide, breaking down everything you need to know to be a master communicator, and that's completely for free. It's the first link in the description below. And now the second red flag is knowing too many people. So let's say you're at a social function and you're with a girl and she's talking to people left and right. She knows every guy, she knows every girl. This is a red flag, because you might be thinking, oh, well, what if she just grew up in this town and she's a social girl and people like her? But on the flip side of things, it's not that difficult to charm up a girl and bring her home. I've done it so many times. I've brought home such good, innocent girls just because I was charming, charismatic, their type, in the right place at the right time, and I was able to bring them home. So the thing you gotta understand is that if a girl knows so many people, there's a high probability that she's taken some dick from quite a few guys at different points in her life. And I know this because in the last 4 years, I've been in small Scandinavian cities where you get to really know everybody in that town. And me being a playboy, I'm also the type of guy who knows absolutely everyone. And I've run through so many girls. So it's like, it's very much both sides of the spectrum is going to do the same thing, where it's like if a guy knows everybody, he's probably slept with a few girls. And if a girl knows everybody, she's probably slept with a few guys as well. And from all the girls that I've been with who are social girls, they're all hoes. And even the ones who I have not slept with, but I just know of and I know their reputation, I've gotten to know them a little bit, they are hoes as well. So that's just kind of how it goes. If a girl's super social, it's a high probability that she's taken some dick. The best girl is going to be the one that, once again, is a little bit shy. She's not talking to everybody. It's a little bit uncomfortable for her to be in the club. She's not super comfortable just going up and talking to everybody. That is much more of a green flag than a girl being super social. And this third red flag is absolutely elite level game. So this is how a girl speaks about her friends and her exes. And if she talks about them in a negative light, or she's playing the victim or blaming them for things, that is actually extremely valuable to you. And this can allow you to gain information into how she views relationships and her mindset as a whole without directly asking these questions, because she's going to reveal it in her answers. So you don't have to probe to try and find these things out. You can read between the lines and see how she thinks, what she believes, her views on relationships, her values. All those things can be discovered very subtly. Going back to the communication guide, it's extremely powerful. I teach you this stuff in there, so you can grab that to learn more. But this is really what you need to look for, is if she's, when you ask her about her past relationship, if she's like, oh my God, he's such an asshole, he did this, he did that, he's the worst boyfriend ever, blah, 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 blah. Or she's like, or you talk about her, or ask her about her friends, and she's like, I got good friends, but, Jessica, she's kind of a bitch, and then this and that, and it goes on, and you can see these things, because the way people talk about others is the way they're going to talk about you. That's just facts. That is how people are in general. So you got to be very careful as to the things they say about their exes, their friends, and if they can't accept blame, then that's a really big red flag, because every relationship is two-sided. There's never one person completely at fault. And some of the best things you can look for is, like, say a girl got cheated on or something, and she's like, yeah, my past relationship, I got cheated on, but this and this happened and whatever, but she's not like directly blaming him. Like, it doesn't even have to be cheating. Like, if she's like, oh yeah, this went wrong and this is what happened, but we had our differences and it's all okay now, and I don't actually dislike him for it, something along those lines. Like, I don't know, I'm not trying to, I can't think of exact specifics because I don't have exact specifics on this situation, but those general types of things, like saying stuff like that, is much better. Or if she's like, oh my God, I love my friends, they're so supportive, they're so great. And the types of ways that she views the relationships that she has is really what you're looking for to see into her mindset, because it's extremely important and it will dictate a lot of how the relationship will go. Okay, and the fourth one is the I want to experience life type of mindset. When a girl just wants to experience everything, she's typically a hoe. And I don't have anything against people wanting to experience life and do things that they want to do. So if a girl wants to do that, that's completely okay. But I'm just saying, in terms of the realm of finding a girlfriend, this is not what you want to look for, because I've met plenty of these I want to experience life type of girls, and they're all hoes. Every single time they end up taking dick, they're always fucking just having fun, they're living in the moment, they don't care about anything. And now on the flip side of things, the best girls are usually the ones who are very career oriented, they're very study oriented, they sacrifice nights out or things like that, or you won't find them in the club every weekend, they skip social events. Those types of girls who are very delayed gratification focused are going to be the best ones. The ones who want to experience life and they want to travel to Thailand and they want to go to this festival and they want to do that, they're hoes. I've seen it so many times. Me, my boys, we've all ended up picking up these girls and sleeping with them who are the I want to experience life type of girl. That's always what happens. So if you have that as a girlfriend, you need to be fucking careful, because most likely she's not so focused on the future and she's just focused on the moment, that instant gratification type of mindset. And the next one's gonna be being overexposed online. So I'm gonna be giving you the different value points throughout this lesson, but I wanna tell you in the lens of a girl who was the biggest green flag that I've ever met. She was the type of girl that you would wife up. I met her about 6 months ago in Norway. We went on a date and I got her Instagram after, and what I saw on her Instagram confirmed everything I thought about her in person. So starting with the first one, which was that she had a private profile. If a girl has a private profile, she's trying to not be seen. She's not doing it for attention, and that is really key. So if a girl has a public profile, she's trying to grow her following, red flag. The next thing is her following to follower ratio. This is something that's really important. So that girl who was the green flag, her ratio was 300 to 300. You could tell that it's only her closest friends that she follows and they follow her back, and those are the people that sees the post that she does. She's just posting to kind of, do it for herself. And that's the truth. If she said that, that is the truth. But when the girls who say, I do it for myself, and then they post a fucking slutty bikini picture when they have a public profile, it's not for themselves. They're doing it for attention. So that's something to look out for. So the public profile, red flag. If their following is way bigger than their followers, red flag. And the next thing is the type of pictures that they post. You really need to learn to trust your intuition with this one. So what kind of pictures she posts is really, really important, because it'll tell you a lot about the girl herself, and it'll let you see into her mindset and kind of make judgments and interpretations based off of past experiences. So a lot of being good at reading people is knowing a lot of different people, having met so many different people. So once I've talked to now thousands of girls, looked at thousands of different Instagram profiles from the girls that I've met, and then seen how everything's played out numerous times, being able to kind of correlate, okay, the girls with these sorts of pictures tend to be hoes, the girls who have this tend to be good girls. You really start to get a good intuition for it and a good gut feeling. And here's kind of a little cheat code that I'll give you. So when you look at this girl's profile, do you get a lustful sort of feeling? That sort of feeling that you'd get if, some sort of Instagram baddie happened to pop up in your search feed and it catches your eye and it's like one of those super slutty bikini pictures or even just wearing provocative clothing type of thing. And she's like one of those OnlyFans girls and it gives you that lustful feeling inside, right? Or do you get that sort of warm, fuzzy feeling? Some might call it like that love sort of feeling. I'm not too big on the love emotions, but when I look at that girl's profile, who I told you about, I don't ever get any sort of lustful feeling. If I was in a lustful state from having seen some fucking OnlyFans girl and I look at her profile, it kind of just it takes away all that lust. I'm just like, oh damn, she's so cute. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that sort of lustful feeling that you want. That is a really bad gut feeling. You don't want that from a girl who you'd want to wife up, the type of girl who you want to, date. That's a really bad thing. If you start seeing her pictures and it turns you on in that horny sort of way, that lustful way. I'll give you an example. So on this girl's Tinder who I slept with, her pictures, when I show my boys, because she's one of the baddest girls I've been with, like I show my boys sometimes, and they're like, damn, she's sexy. But if I look at her pictures, it gives me lustful feelings. I'm like turned on by it in that horny sort of way, like where I just want to fuck her. She's just sexy. But, if I look at that girl from Norway, it gives me those sort of warm, fuzzy feelings. I'm like, damn, she's cute. That's the type of girl I'd want to cuddle. Now, that's kind of what you want to go for. I know we went into depth with it, but you need to learn to trust your intuition on how you feel from the pictures that the girl posts. It's really, really important. So just kind of getting a good feel for her Instagram, because that is where she's portraying herself online, and it can allow you to read into this person very quickly and easily. The sixth red flag is going to be the girls who can never be bored, who are hyper stimulated, who have an ADHD mindset when they really don't have ADHD. They're just constantly consuming instant gratification and it's just rotting their mind. So the girls who are constantly hitting their vape, scrolling TikTok, these are the sorts of girls who love instant gratification, and they will get that from male validation, usually on Snap, on Instagram. That sort of stuff gives them the stimulation that they desire. It gives them that instant gratification that they're looking for. And for that reason, it makes them really bad girlfriends. So I dated a girl before I knew this red flag who was like that. She was always hitting her vape. She was constantly on the apps, just fucking scrolling, doing dumb shit. She could never sit still. She could never read a book. Things like this are really, really just not good for being a girlfriend. It's not as bad as some of the other ones. If a girl truly loved you and she scrolled on TikTok, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but there's certain things that you got to kind of be able to see into in terms of the mindset that someone has who is very instant gratification focused, and how that can cause issues if they really do like that male validation. They're going to get it, because girls get tons and tons of validation, whether it's on Snap, Instagram DMs, and if that is something that they feed into and they like, that just doesn't make her a good quality girl that you'd want to date. So some of the green flags to look for is if a girl says she likes to read books, if she loves to spend time with her family, if she likes to do wholesome activities like play card games or board games or go hiking or spend time in nature, skiing. These are the sorts of things that you want to hear. The girls who are the biggest green flags, they tell me these sorts of things. Whereas the girls, there was this one from this summer who I was hanging out with, and she was saying, oh, I have ADHD. I can never sit still. I always need to do something. I'm always scrolling on TikTok. She's hitting her vape as she's saying it. And I just went into hanging out with her knowing that she's not a girlfriend type of girl. She's fun. You can hang out with her. She's in the club every weekend. You can party with her. You can sleep with her. But she's not the type of girl that you want to date. And that's really important to understand. And the last red flag is when girls take things too fast. So this can be applied in many different lenses. But let me give you a common one that most guys wouldn't see through. So a lot of guys say they're snapping a girl or something, and they're talking to her and they're talking so much, and maybe she starts sending you a little bit of sexy pictures. They don't even have to be anything that crazy, but maybe it's just like a little bit of like a leg picture. Maybe she sends you some mirror selfie in her underwear or something. I get those all the time from some girls, especially the girls I've slept with, but the girls who start to send stuff like that too early on is a massive red flag. Because if she's sending it to you as a guy who has no position within her life, realistically, like let's just say you matched on Tinder or you met her once at the club and talked a little bit, you aren't someone who's truly important in her life. You're not a guy that she really loves or anything like that, then she's sending those sorts of pictures to guys all the time. This isn't a big deal for her to send pictures around that are sexy, stuff like that. Or if she's just talking way too much to you and you're not getting a date out of it very quickly, it's not leading to a date right off the bat, then once again, you're wasting your fucking time. There's some girls who I've been with and it's super easy to talk to them and just set up a date. That's a different story. That's a girl who wants to form a relationship. But if you're just talking to a girl who doesn't want to go on a date and is always busy but wants to talk, she's just using you for male validation, and likely she's doing this with a bunch of different guys, especially if she's sending those sexy pictures and stuff like that. That's her keeping you on the hook. So you have to be really careful and look out for these things, as you might think you're gaining position and she's sending you these sexy pictures and you're all excited and your pee-pee's getting hard. The thing is, she's probably doing this to a bunch of other guys, so you got to really look out for that. The only girls who should be sending you those sorts of pictures are the ones that you're developing a relationship with, that you've been with, that you're, starting to really trust now. If those sorts of girls do that, it's a different story. But if it's just these girls who you're not even that close with, you haven't gained any position with, you barely hung out with, then that's a red flag. You got to be careful for that. So once again, the key to navigating girls' relationships, dealing with red flags, and also setting boundaries around them is going to be being a very good communicator. If you're a dynamic communicator, you're going to handle all these red flags with ease. You're going to be able to see into the girls and see the red flags so you know whether to take a girl serious or not. It's really key that you're a dynamic communicator, and for that reason, I built you my high-level communication guide, giving you everything you need to be a master communicator, and it's completely for free. It's the first link in the description below.